Google algorithm accuses random guy of being a serial killer.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Grey hair can return to its original color and the stress is involved, of course. A startup is working on gene-hacked trees to gobble up tons of climate-destroying carbon dioxide. But if we're just meeting, my name is Michael, and our mission here in Supertrees is to keep you updated with the latest artificial intelligence, genomics, blockchain technology, and science news. So, off we go. The internet is quite an amusing place. With well over 1,200 petabytes, that is 1.2 billion gigabytes, you can find anything you could possibly imagine. Music, movies, job opportunities, people you went to primary school with, and obviously, information about yourself. It shouldn't come as a surprise that if you type in your name on Google, the most used search engine in the world, it will most likely show ways to connect with you. This can be a Facebook or LinkedIn profile, and if you happen to be a known individual, even a small description of your biography and deeds at the top of the right corner, called knowledge panels. However, something completely unexpected happened to Hristo Georgiev when typing his own name on Google. The Swiss-based engineer could not believe his eyes. The search engine had misidentified him as a serial killer right in the knowledge panel and for the nearly 4 billion Google users worldwide to see. And how did this happen, you may ask? So contrary to common belief, knowledge panels are automatically generated. In other words, they are powered by Google's algorithm that extracts the information from multiple sources, including the picture that Hristo saw of himself, linked to the serial killer who happened to have the same name. And while you may think that knowledge panels are not all that relevant, 62% of mobile searches in 2019 were based purely on these snippets, meaning that 62% of the people only check that knowledge panel for information without extending or confirming the research through additional resources. The moral of the story is that you should always validate the information you gather from multiple reliable sources. Otherwise, you are risking being biased and being obviously partially or completely wrong. Moving on to biology, grey hair can return to its original color. Science says. A new study published by eLife and funded by the Wharton Fund and the NIH conducted on individuals of various ages, ethnicities, and sexes not only has proven that recoloring or repigmentation of grey hair is possible, but also that grey hair is closely related to high levels of stress and psychological well-being. The findings supported previous research conducted by mitochondrial physiobiologist at Columbia University, Martin Picard, which concluded that in subjects aged between 9 and 39, some graying hairs regain color and not only in the head but all the bodily regions as well. By applying the known average growth rate of human hair, which is around 1 centimeter per month, the scientists were able to pinpoint the life events in the subjects where the hair strand started to turn white. In most cases, the results evidence that these were periods of significant stress. For example, a 30-year-old subject with black hair revealed that one strand containing a white segment corresponded to 2 months during which she underwent marital separation and relocation, her highest stress period in the year. In another 35-year-old subject with auburn hair, 5 strands of hair underwent graying reversal in the same period of time, coinciding with a 2-week vacation. Remember that song that went by, "Don't worry, be happy"? Well, if you want to keep your natural color, now you know what to do. And moving on to the genomic space, can trees be genetically modified to absorb more carbon dioxide? Well, startup Living Carbon says they can. The rising concern for climate change has been an important catalyst for the development of sustainable sources of energy. However, according to Frontiers in Forest and Global Change, even if we covered every inch of the Earth's surface with forest, we would not be able to absorb the oversupply of carbon dioxide that is already in the planet's atmosphere, prompting the growth of negative emission technologies in an attempt to achieve a net zero emission balance to counteract the human disruptions to the global carbon cycle. So Living Carbon raised the question, what if trees were better? The startup is manipulating the genetic code of trees to increase the amount of carbon dioxide they can absorb and process during the photosynthesis stage. And although this may sound like a nifty solution, it's taken decades and millions in funding to do this in a way that does more good than harm, in the sense that trees may be more susceptible to stress and therefore less healthy. The startup is also developing a second innovation for the trees, which will allow them to live longer and healthier by taking up nickel and copper, which act as fungicides. The reason for this is that fungi accelerate the decomposition of wood, resulting in loss of CO2. Living Carbon co-founder and chief technology officer Patrick Meller said that this breakthrough could mean an increased 20 to 30% of carbon dioxide absorption capacity, which would mean gigatons of additional carbon dioxide drawn down globally. Who will you call in a couple of years' time when the Earth's atmosphere will be overloaded with greenhouse gases? I'll tell you, not Batman, not Superman, but Supertree. If you want to know more about the latest developments in the genomic space, you may also want to understand how gain-of-function or genetic engineering applied to viruses could have been the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'll leave the video somewhere in here. In the meantime, stay in the know with Cyberstruck.